a number of Rembrandt's most brilliant drawings have been reattributed to some of his duller students, Ferdinand Bol being particularly favoured.
This drawing of Hagar and the angel is one of Rembrandt's most virtuoso performances. I am looking at the kneeling figure of Hagar, and in particular at her hands. They are like a perfectly performed phrase of Mozart. A quill pen is not easy to control. If the user hesitates for a moment, the paper will absorb more ink and make a blot. Rembrandt is observing two symmetrical hands seen from different points of view, and then seemingly drawing each individual finger with the same continuous movement as if he was writing. What is happening here is way beyond a perfect manuscript, where one is shaping letters that have been performed many thousands of times before. It is much more complicated, but achieved apparently without effort. Each finger is perfectly shaped to take its place in a hand and in a pose that expresses surprise. It is a miracle of expressive drawing. No one, not even Rembrandt, has ever drawn with this precision before. It is breathtaking. It is typical of Rembrandt insofar as he as often attempts to draw hands like this, but I cannot find its equal anywhere else in his or anyone else's work. The Annunciation is possibly drawn from the same two models. The Virgin's hand is very similar to Hagar's, but less virtuoso. The subject is impressively different to the standard representation, and much more human. In this drawing of Ruth and Boaz, we see a similar hand, but though it's obviously drawn from the same pair of models in a similar poses, it is comparatively clumsy. Rembrandt had to spend more ink on it, because it did not come right first time. The figure of Hagar came right first time. The sense of volume one feels in her head and upper body is beautiful. She leans away from the angel in fright or surprise. The profile of her head and neck she presents to us is conveyed with a summary line, also typical of Rembrandt. The precise amount of nose we see tells us how she turns towards the angel. Her skirts again exquisitely in touch with the quality of folds of the cloth. This is all great Rembrandt. The angel is typical Rembrandt, but it does not take one's breath away. Though this rare masterpiece was once attributed to Rembrandt, our modern experts have chosen to reattribute it to Bol, on the grounds that he did a similar painting. The painting is, of course, drawn from the same group of models and from a position similar to Rembrandt's, but what a different response. Perhaps Rembrandt was trying to show his student Bol how to express surprise. Alas, Bol was not capable of receiving the instruction. His Hagar appears to be indicating the length of sausage she wants from the butcher. Where Rembrandt's drawing conveys the volume of Hagar's head brilliantly, Bol's painting sadly botches the job, with the positioning of the ear and the drawing of the hairline as it passes over her forehead. If you can see what I'm talking about in this head, it is rather subtle. You would make an excellent student of Rembrandt's geometry. This one misjudgment has led scholars into a colossal series of misjudgments. If Bol could draw like this, then of course he could have done a whole raft of Rembrandt drawings. You will find his box in the Rijksprinten cabinet full of them. It's amazing, but it's true. Bol was not an outstanding draftsman, far from it. He was thoroughly pedestrian. Look at this drawing of Pomona being seduced by Zeus, disguised as an old lady. Rembrandt sees the funny side of the situation. Bol does not. Nonetheless, this drawing, which was once exhibited as typical Rembrandt, is now awarded to Bol because he did this painting.
Looking at this evidence for the first time, one might be tempted to interpret it as a deliberate attempt to vandalize Rembrandt's work. But over the years, I've come to the conclusion that it was a crude mistake on the part of Wolflin that planted a worm in the heart of connoisseurship. After nearly 100 years, that worm has not been exorcised, and modern criticism has led to the perversion of art, art education, and practice.